It's bread. Bread. For a burger. Ours are bugs, dude.
Ours are bugs. Just trying to fight my fate.
I think it's a skill issue.
Yeah, maybe. Reading comprehension.
What do you think about the competition in Challengers?
I mean, I think last year, I thought I was like one of the best in like out of all the players, right? So this split, I think the league got a lot worse. Actually, outside of C9, I think that team was like, the team's probably been better than like, any other team that's ever like at last year. So when I saw EG last, I'm asking like Roma and Jen, like, why are you guys losing? like, how are you guys losing to these players? Like, what is going on? Like, bro, like these guys, I'd like kill them, like, I would beat them with my pinky toe. You know? And then they're like, bro, like you don't understand. Like these guys leveled up.
Alright, I have an interesting history question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Before you became, what is it, the winningest player OS has ever seen, right? Because I think you have the most titles now. For a long time, it was Radier.
Yeah.
And what was your relationship with him like? You know, like
interpersonal.
it could be like,
non-existent.
oh, you just didn't talk.
No.
But was there a rivalry that you felt?
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Like, when you're that guy, like, when you think you're the best, and then there's someone like, you know, everyone's like, this guy's the best. You're like, you're gonna be annoyed, right?
Yeah.
2015, I do have to give it to him. He was still the best player, the best ADC, probably the best player as well. That's arguable. I don't want to give that to him. I'll give you the best ADC,
Best
but
in role.
not the best player. That's not a freebie, you know?
Yeah.
His reign was like before my time.
Fair, yeah.
Before I even like existed.
You were the successor.
I wouldn't say I was a successor, because I felt like there's like 4 great host ADCs.
Yeah.
Who are the others?
FBI, Lost, and Raze.
Okay.
And me. I feel like those were the 4, like, you know, the ADCs that like we're always like competing against each other.
Yeah. I also think it's funny that as Osh
Where's up, dude?
Hey.
You want to say hi to the camera? We're doing an interview.
Oh, this guy's good at 80k. I'm retired now, but I still watch you play sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Is it good?
It's pretty
Is it
good.
good?
Yeah.
The hamburger.
Oh,
His
the burger.
burger's got just bread on it, though.
That's a dotty mode.
Yeah. He just knows what's up.
Yeah, I go there like every other day.
Yeah.
It is delicious.
I mean, like you just look at it, like these 2 pieces of bread can't take it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's bursting at the seams. Goodbye.
Later.
See ya.
King, can you get the duck's attention? You have to win it over. Oh yeah, we're leaving with that duck. That duck's ours. King, I'll give you $1 if you jump in.
I mean, I play in the NACL, but I'm not willing to do that.
King, I'll give you $1 million right now in a briefcase, in cash, untaxed.
That's a lot of money.
But you'll never win another Challengers League game again.
I could work with that,
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
but like I can end the game like 20-100-0.
Yeah, and then if you get promoted to LCS, you're fine. The curse is not affecting that, right?
Yeah, you know.
It's just
worth
Challengers
it.
League. Just punt your NACL games.
I'm sorry, everyone, but I think I have to take that.
We're gonna have to take $1
$1
million.
million?
I think I have
That's
to
a lot of
take
money.
that. Like I'm in a coming of age movie.
Friends.
I'm in LA.
Yeah.
Los Angeles growing up. I'm actually 25 years old.
Do you feel as though there's a stigma against you and other players that have been around for a while?
Yeah, definitely.
How do you feel as though you can overcome that stigma?
Way better.
Play better.
I feel I've always been like the type of person, I want to earn it. Yeah. After I played Worlds 2019, I felt like I played pretty well. I felt like I was the best point player on the team. And when I earned that spot, I was like really happy because like I felt like I earned it. So, you know, just let the gameplay talk.
Okay. There's a player in chess right now named Hans Niemann. There's a line that he said where he said it and then walked away from the interview. Before we go, I want to get this line from you, okay? The League of Legends speaks for itself. Just walk off.
Proven here on camera that this is all fake, and we
Yeah.
just feed King the information to tell us, so we can build a story for
Did
him.
you,
Remember to sub to LCS Challengers to support the players.
where can people find you on social media?
You can find me at KingYB with a 1 on Twitter and Twitch. That's all I have.
King, how was your episode of Between Two Buns?
It was an amazing experience.
Amazing experience.
There you go.
Fake
That's
Out
it.
only
That
said it
means
was
that you
okay.
guys can come out too.
King, how are you gonna do this split?
The league speaks for itself.
Welcome everyone back to the LCS Challengers. I am Mazel. I'm joined by Magical and Cubby. And what a game number 1 between these two teams. And of course, that always means we got the Turo key drive. I know, Cubby, you highlighted at the end of the game so beautifully. We have to go back to when the dam broke. And especially when DSG were able to crack down the base with an incredible sequence of plays.
All right, let's fire this up. Aaron's up. Yeah, I think, first off, the fact that Zeyzal lived this was huge. And then just forcing everyone back. Yeah, the Kaisa ends up going big. But I love how DSG just understand, guys, we have to push now.
Yeah.
One of the poke tools, or I should say, the protection for the poke tools, it was removed. And with the Baron, DSG getting in here, breaking the base, that's what enabled them to win the game in the fashion they did later.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of just sets up, right? It's an exposed Nexus after this play. Even if King does come up huge, right?
Yep.
Keeps the game alive a little bit further. DSG are just like, you know what? If we let them set up, we are going to lose. We have an exposed Nexus, and we want to fight. Let us just go fight. Throw every body possible at the Nexus no matter what, so that they can get that. And as you can see from the gold graph, it's just kind of crazy how close that was, all the way up until about 35 minutes.
We had some fluctuations in what the key drive was going to be. It was potentially that Kaisa play from King. It was actually incredible, the deep flank, but the grit that DSG showed actually was the winning factor there. The fact that they were able to pull away a lead when there was such scrappy fighting until that point, it was incredible. So that's why they earned our Turo key drive of the day. But now we get to break down that game in a little bit more of a fun way here, as we always got to get to our Rally Cry halftime show. Here we are with a game show I like to call Specifically Unspecific.
Just when I get to blindfold myself?
Yes. Good thing I gave you the teaser earlier. Now we have some replays that I've chosen of that game. I'm going to choose one of you to be blindfolded for said replay. The other of you is going to have to describe the replay to the other blindfolded caster with no specific terms, no pronouns, no League of Legends related terms. Let's see how you guys do. Cubby, throw a blindfold on you first, as we're going to get our first clip here, getting ready to go.
You know, we're usually against brands here, but go Red Hawks, love and honor. You know, alma mater.
Allegiance, okay, I guess. Yeah. All right, throw it up, and we'll go ahead and see what we have to say. Just put it over your head. It's fine. All right, let's go ahead and bring up the first replay here.
Okay.
You cannot see. I can tell. You have a jacket over your head.
I don't have the brand on the right side.
So I can't say like.
No champion names. Nothing League of Legends related. What is going on? You have to describe it.
All right. Right now, it's a bunch of smashing back and forth, and there's like these big bricks that are really kind of been thrown around. They're more like cinder blocks, really, that are just constantly being chucked at somebody and making it really hard for them to do it. And then eventually they just kind of break and shatter into some pieces, and they're really sharp then. And it really hurts the frail body of this thing it's going up against.
That's a frail body, huh?
Do the cinder blocks have friends?
Not at this play. There are no friends in this play.
Okay, it's the Surdy solo kill.
He does not have friends. Go ahead and take your blindfold off. We can go ahead and show Cubby the play here, as it's going to go ahead and keep looping. Your blindfold off. You were correct. Good description. Bricks being thrown around with no friends. I like it. Let's go ahead and bring up our second play, but while we do, I want Magical to go ahead and put on your blindfold here.
I'm ready. I've
been
been ready
to
for
go
this.
with your cute blindfold. I absolutely love it. You have eyes.
Ready.
You can see the plays. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and get that second play coming up whenever you can, as you're going to have to figure out what this one is off of Cubby's non-specifics.
0-1v5.
All right, you know that last play?
Uh-huh.
This time he has friends.
Fair.
Oh, this time he has friends. Oh, okay. It's it's not the solo kill, but where Surdy uses the all-out to bring Fake God over to Shaden inside the river, and then they're able to dash over the all-out and get the kill on them.
That's not fair. It's just not fair.
You never said that we couldn't do that.
I feel like that was a specific, because you said that last game. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. Maybe it's a little sound coming out for you.
I don't know no. I think we
All right, you can take off your blindfold. It was that play, absolutely. Now, as we see it forward, it was an incredible focus towards topside for Evil Geniuses, and they capitalized every single time on Fake God. I want to go ahead and bring up our third play here, and Cubby, you're gonna have to put back on that jacket, hopefully a little bit quicker for yourself. Maybe not loop yourself into it. Maybe just throw it on. Just throw it, you know. Just,
we're trying to make it so that the college fan shows.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta be faster.
This M's not for Maryville. I didn't see anything that pops up.
All right. Let's go ahead and bring up that next play, and we'll see
Miami
if Magical can do this yet again. So go ahead and play it.
There are a lot of
non-specific.
There are a lot of friends here, and it's all around like how you dash forward and then get rid of things. The most important thing is you're getting rid of things from people. That they no longer have that, and so they struggle when they don't have those certain things that are very, very important. In fact, you might say that they are the most superior thing that they have. That they can
does
utilize.
this play work from east to west over time?
It works from east to west over time, yes.
All right, this is EG taking things away from the skies and poking them at.
Oh my goodness, you're too good. Take off your blindfold.
Is it the fourth dragon and then going into the Baron?
Take off your blindfold. We're gonna keep playing the play. My goodness. Specifically,
was it the fourth
non-specifics.
dragon?
Yeah, it was, I think, fourth dragon, yeah.
This looks like
You can
third.
see here.
I can't remember.
It is the third dragon.
Okay,
I believe.
Yeah, this looks like third.
But it's where a lot of the ultimates got burned. They got rid of a lot of things.
But you got the specifics in a non-specific way, so I appreciate that one. All right, Magical, put that blindfold back on. All right, we're trying to punish you here, all right? Let's see if we can bring up that next play, as I do want to try to get to some of the fun, as we do have some pretty incredible ones.
0-1v5.
Let's go ahead and get Cubby to start specifically, non-specifically describing this play. No
Magical?
descriptions.
0-1v5. All right.
Just leave him. All right. Well, you're right. You didn't need anything. Specifically, not specific. It was the 0-1v5.
I knew it was going to be one of the plays. I knew it.
All right. We got one more play. We'll have to quickly get to it as we're running out of time here for the Rally Cry halftime show. So hopefully we'll be able to bring that one up quick here. But go ahead and put that jacket back on, Cubby. We'll see if you guys' synergy is on point before we get into our second game.
Can I at least like see how this blindfold like looks live? Okay, I look.
It's
ridiculous.
hilarious. It's actually hilarious. All
I
right.
look like if like students filmed like the Scarecrow from Batman. You know,
True.
This is, like, what
Magical, go.
Okay, this one is where they really want to make sure that they're the ones that take away the big possession. And they take that big possession that's normally very important. In fact, sponsor names are usually attached to it as well.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's very specific.
That's very specific.
That's a no-go.
You know what?
That's a disqualification.
What sponsor it is. I
You know
didn't say
what?
what sponsor it is.
No, I think that what we should have really had, first off, is the Turo key drive should have been the 1v5.
Yeah, should have.
Coming
I agree.
Is that really what it was?
I'm with you.
Not
Yeah,
your
it
long-winded
is.
spiel about how that breaking the base was the important factor they could go back to.
It
You
was,
don't care about
but,
that
like,
one?
we had Azir going 1v5, and that ended up, helping them get Baron and break the base, right? So,
All right,
but
well,
either way,
You guys are on point, all right? You guys are on point with the Rally Cry halftime. I got to be careful.
King came from behind in this one, and that was
He did.
pretty deadly.
It was pretty cool to watch. It was a long-winded spiel. There's the Azir 1v5 yet again. But that means that we're coming to the end of our Rally Cry halftime show. We got to get into our next game as well and refocus a little bit on how these teams can kind of approach this one. Because I think DSG and EGC, they are going fisticuffs here as their last series comes to a close. And I expect nothing less for their last game. We'll see what happens in draft number 2. Guys, take it away.
All right, let's get into our second game here. The Skies, with that victory, do secure themselves third seed in our standings. But for EGC, this is playing a lot for how they can look going into playoffs. A team that has been looking really strong as of late.
For the Skies, too, if they win this game, they guarantee they don't face EGC in the first round.
Yes,
it would actually be FlyQuest versus EGC in the first round, which is interesting because I think both teams are playing well. And EGC 2-0'd them last week. So Could be a fun matchup. Disguise would like to dodge out on EG, I'm sure, in that first round playoff. Would rather face AOE. But EGC, of course, trying to play for some pride, play for some seeding, and see what happens here against Disguised.
As we are into the draft here, swapping up the sides, I'm really curious to see exactly what both teams kind of want to go for, because that pole composition, we really did like that from EGC, but I loved what the Skies were able to do to kind of counteract that, and really shows a lot of the calm collectedness they have, but also that experience that you have from players like Zazel and Fake God that can really help reset a lot of what the teams need to look for.
We're going to be first pick Maokai set up here for EGC. They took away Rel, Kaisa flexes. Those are very common first picks. I think they're going to take either the Maokai away from DSG or have a strat prep to go into Maokai. So Disguise, they take away something like... They aren't going to ban something like a Sejuani here. But they actually ban out the Poppy. So don't want that early game strat. They don't want something like Xayah Rakan being locked in here for the side of EGC. And honestly, it is EG. I would not be surprised if they drop that Maokai and first pick something like Xayah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised either. But that also does mean that you're giving Tomio that Maokai. And with that win, what is it? It was
6-1.
6-1 before. Now it's 7-1.
Now it's 6-1.
Oh, now it's 6-1. That is a great showing so far for Tomio on that. But instead of getting that, they deny a possible combination of having that Maokai with Jace, grabbing that early for Ryoma.
These guys now have an option if they want to try and deny one of the pieces of Xayah Rakan, as Jace locked in here for EG early on. Yeah, no surprise.
Expected.
Maokai, you're going to deny that from the Jace. No way you're going to give away, Jace plus Maokai.
I even wonder if you just go Maokai Azir here. Young, literally the hero of that last game for the team. But instead of going for that, the option still is available. Meech could grab the Xayah that had been banned previously. A lot of the safety that having that Xayah on the team provides you as well. You talked about the Lovers duo that we could have set up for EGC. It seems like DSG wanted to take it for themselves.
Expecting now to see a Sejuani, as that's one of the more common answers that we have in the Maokai coming out from Shaden. And we could see a power pick top lane, bot lane dropped, or we could see that Rakan denied from the side of Disguised, as not only is the Lovers duo so powerful, but also Zazel, great Rakan player in his own right. Oh, wait, I totally forgot about this. LeBlanc got through.
Yeah.
The counters are taken away. Oh, my.
LeBlanc got through, and I didn't want to mention this until it actually happened, but the Jace flexibility, you highlighted it before, that it could easily be moved around, but so can LeBlanc. We've seen the top lane LeBlanc come through a couple times.
Do we take Rakan or do we take jungle here and power pick topside for EG? Looks to be the Rakan for Smoothie, as each of our former Cloud9 supports going toe-to-toe. They were in the system together. Fun to see them battle it out in what was, if you guys missed game one, it was a slow game, but I thought it was a really fascinating game. Oh, boy! Young's throwing down, man. We got Aurelia.
Yeah, Young getting his classic pick here in mid lane. We talked before, back in the pre-show, setting up this draft, how Young loves to play a lot of these melee champions, but the Aurelia is really the signature that Young was providing back before, when we were seeing Young starting to come through the semi-pro scene, and then in the academy circuit as well with Golden Guardians.
Oh, man. This is honestly a fun draft, too, because Aurelia good in the both solo laners here for EG. And now looks like jungle's being taken away, and also counters to Rakan being taken away by Disguise and EGC, respectively. So now, honestly, what's left here for Disguise top lane? There's a lot of picks that are good in the chase, and that really is where my concern is. Like Fake God, even go for something like Malphite here.
Yeah.
LeBlanc is dominant in a side lane. Disguise showing that Aurelia, I think it's all about the Aurelia. If Aurelia gets ahead, she can win both sides against EG, slow down that static shove that is so deadly from Ryoma's LeBlanc.
Look at what the DSG are taking away, too. They're taking away things that could attack early. That's the big thing. I think it's more about taking away things that they're afraid can get on top of Young early into the game and put this Aurelia behind it. For anyone confused why we're really talking about Aurelia being mid lane as opposed to being top lane, it is because of Young. Young plays this champion so much and is so good on this champion. Of course, it could be flex. There is that small potential that Fake God could take it on the top lane, but this is like 99% likely it is going into the hands of Young, as maybe not, because with this hover here on that Ziggs, that would then say
No.
No, it's going top lane
No,
instead.
no. It's not going to be Ziggs. It's not going to be
chance.
Ziggs. It's not going to be
That
Ziggs.
1%
It will not be
chance, I'm
Ziggs.
just
It's not going to
saying.
be Ziggs.
Let's
Nope.
see. Let's watch.
No, he's flashing it because that's what he thinks is going to pick into him.
There it is.
Yep. I think it's going to be Ziggs now for the side of King.
Yeah, so I think that's probably what it's going to be. Something that can get a lot of pressure and priority in the bot lane once you get that lost chapter early on into Xayah. So looking at what EGC have, even though they do have that LeBlanc back on the team, when they more than likely lock in this Ziggs in the bot lane, that's still a lot of poke that EGC are bringing to the table. Very similar identity that we saw in the last game.
Oh, Seraphine for the side of EG. So ability to zone out the Xayah and absorb the engage coming out. And that's going to be a Viego for Shaden. Pairs up really well with the Seraphine. So EG, again, up to their tricks. Going to play with some poke, not play with the traditional marksman, and try and beat this guys at it.
Let's see, when I think Shaden, you know, these Malakais, these Iverns, these Sejuanis, that's not what I think of when I think Shaden. I think things like this Viego when I think of this player. Those are the moments that we saw him really pop off beforehand when he was back on Cloud9 Academy last year. So having something that has a lot more agency here for Shaden could be one of the breaking points against Disguise. But Disguise have great tools at not only fighting with a Kennen, Maokai, having the Aurelia on top of it, but the disengage they can also get and get out of a lot of danger with that Melio here for Zeyzal.
I think Melio could be pretty good this game for Disguised. A way to immediately counter the Encore coming out from the Seraphine and giving Xayah extra range where she will need it against the comp that EGC has. It is important, but EGC, again, trying to utilize their range, keep Disguised at bay, find poke, and then utilize Seraphine to reset fights going up against Disguised. Whereas Disguised, they want to find that all in. And a big emphasis, all eyes for me, going to be on Young versus Ryoma in this early game. Hyped up the mid lane matchup, saying each of these players are somewhat stepping up and helping find their teams more success in the back half of the season. Very volatile matchup that can be played in the mid lane. Slightly Aurelia favored, but Jungler's ability to get involved. See if Tomio can help Young get ahead.
And I feel like that is going to be the big story. I kind of talked about it before, looking at the 2v2 mid lanes in game 1 between EGC and Disguise, but this game even more so as we have loaded up on to the Rift. Disguise have locked themselves in 3rd place. They do want to make sure they can avoid EGC taking them down here in this second game, but make sure they don't have to play them in the first part of the bracket in playoffs.
Surdy should use this rush to check it.
Yep.
Yeah, not going to find Fake God, but still priority for Surdy in the top side. So the full invade, make sure that he's safe to walk up here. As will be a late ward being dropped by EG on the Raptor camp. And this guy's playing full defense. Their level 1 is pretty tough. So I think this guy's rightfully dropping things and not looking for any advantages themselves on level 1. So it will be a slight information advantage going over to the side of EG.
Kind of need those levels for DSG. They're fine. They're not getting too threatened here from EGC as the wards are all that's going to be, she wrote, while everyone else wants to get back to their respective lanes. And with both junglers starting on the same half of the map, there will be a bit of a party towards this top side. Something that we kind of were looking towards the draft and seeing how you can really play it around Ryoma for Shaden, Young for Tomio, but top lanes too. Because 30 on this Jace, something that you don't often see a lot of times nowadays, seeing the Jace go into the top lane. But it is still going to be something that is going to be really difficult to deal with in these side lanes for Fake God.
Pretty sure only Zamido's played so far this split, but it is a Surdy special, as his Jace was very strong with Team Liquid first in the spring. Good to see him back on this pick for the first time in the summer. As see Fake God utilizing the E to get some minion damage and speed up that attack speed that contest the Jace. Jace can wait for a couple levels to go in onto Kennen. Once that E knockback, which is very powerful, is Young.
Young with the chains connecting, but gets
well
the
done.
duet to connect, but had already used the Q, so could not use that Blade Surge to go further.
It's fine. Young gonna have some sustain on the Aurelia, given her kit, the Doran's shield, and what is likely a second win. Whereas Ryoma did have to burn through both pots there, as Ryoma is attacked to go for the Shiv. Change in 13-13, of course, being Dematerializer being used, as it is 2 D-mats on Mage Creep to get the one shot with just the Shiv on the back line.
Shaden hovering top lane. Surdy getting a good trade there against Fake God, but he has done the flash forward, flash away. Surdy does dodge away from one more shuriken, and Fake God realizes, oh no, I've been baited in for first blood.
Oh, Surdy's going to drop the cannon creep. He should reset as Fake God's going to instantly TP back in. But good setup and bait from Surdy and Shaden as the blood goes over to the side of EG. That they can utilize these comps to try and get their solo laners ahead and play sides later, as they have taken very volatile matchups. Fake God nearly finds it. Doesn't get that auto off because Surdy slipped into vision. That was the difference maker. As he then flashes, Fake God has to guess where he throws the Q. He guesses wrong. W barely hits from the Diego, and Shaden picks up first point.
Regardless, the W didn't matter.
Oh, wait.
Shaden, he was
dead.
pick up a kill.
Dead.
Tomio, Smite secures
Oh my
the
God.
red buff. Shaden is hunting him down without that stun anymore.
If Tomio doesn't Twisted Advance that, I think he dies. That's really important. He was able to get that red buff and level 4. That does set Shaden a little bit further behind as he does come up empty on that attempt. Young cleans up the wave by his turret, and he is going to head home.
Gonna head home, get DP back, make sure that he grabs that cannon minion. Not gonna likely lose that out as Ryoma doesn't even want to try to cancel the recall. Instead, just gonna crash one more minion wave. But for the side of DSG, losing out on that top lane play, especially here against Jace. This makes it really difficult for that Kennen, who kind of needs to either stay even or maybe even get slightly ahead in this matchup. But usually, characteristically, really difficult for a Kennen to play into.
Yeah, if Jace gets ahead, Kennen gets cooked. So the fact that EG got an early lead for Surdy on the top side is good. Surdy has played out his lanes very well, split, so has the ability to make use of that. As EG's bot lane actually pushing pretty far up here. Let's see if Tomio cancels his recall. As Smoothie doesn't realize there's a ward behind him. No cancel though. It'll be a safe recall out of King. He's gonna take some harass. Not that big of a deal.
Yeah, he has flash heal, just in case, but he's also got the turrets to play with, so he's able to get back. Allowing Meech to get that recall off, so he'll get back into lane.
It's all right, but on that timer, like that's the kind of timer where when you take these TP mage bot laners, you're looking to maybe sneak away a dragon. I think Meech forcing the recall there was really good. That lane does get better for him. You can see King already used the TP to get that lost chapter as early as possible in the laning phase. If Meech doesn't match that reset, it opens up windows pretty much every wave due to the item disadvantage for Meech to fish for that first dragon. Really like the base that was taken there by Meech, as now priority should still be in the hands of Disguise. We'll see if they try and look for that early Cloud Drake.
And Meech should be able to clear out that minion wave, push it back, as Hazel now has freedom to move around the map. It is going to be slightly answered by Smoothie, but you already see that DSG are starting to get themselves a bit of an advantage here around that dragon. Unfortunately, it is going to be difficult to deal with King. That Seraphine's going to have great wave clear now that she's gotten that lost chapter, kind of similar to what we see with picking up that Ziggs in the bot lane. It means that DSG, it's really difficult for them to even try to contest around the dragon unless they can call in someone or get an advantage here in mid lane.
I like how, revisiting that, yet to be a real advantage for the Aurelion. We've yet to see junglers get involved mid.
Which is kind of surprising. I'm very surprised to see that both sides haven't really visited, especially because against something like a LeBlanc, you really do want to attack early. She is very slippery. As Maokai, you do have that guaranteed lockdown tool that can follow her up wherever she goes, but Ryan's been doing a good job too of making sure that he bullies a little bit against Young, landing a lot of these chains so that Young can actually follow up when he does look for that poke. And right there, you can see that Young trying to clear up the spinning wave, get that advantage, to call in someone so they can play around that dragon that is up and available.
And that reset for Meech, again, I think this is what's opening the window for this guy to even look at this dragon. They're trying to take it right before this Herald has the ability to spawn. But look at EG. Jaden gonna cross through mid. Ryoma has shoved.
Very slow take.
She's able to answer. It is a slow take. King's on off to the side. Has that access to the Encore. DSG is stuck in the choke. They can't walk through that. So this Dragon start get bullied off by EG. Seraphine a little bit too strong early, and that's big as EG. They can take this. Jaden has a couple camps to clean up bot if he does want to walk into his red buff, but he could also walk up top and try and pressure there.
Or they can look for this play on Tomio, forcing out his flash earlier on 2. Now Tomio, without that flash, gonna be difficult for him with that Rift Herald having spawned out, like you said, losing out on the Dragon. EGC, similar to how they did it in Game 1, slow style of gameplay. But this time around, instead of being purely about the poke and waiting out the game, they have good elements to win out in these lanes and then scale if they need to.
It's gonna be tough for this guys to look at this Herald too. As Surdy, any shock blast that connect at this point onto the cannon will be big. Surdy is ahead of the top lane, has a tier and a longsword in over the side of this cannon. And EG, want to see them try to push for this objective. Jaden's going to reset after he took the red buff. I think that see if he skips a camp or if he walks straight towards it, but this is a time where I would expect EG to be able to take this.
I do too. They've got top lane priority here for Surdy, mid lane priority for Ryoma. Shaden is already booking it towards that half of the map. They need to too. Smoothie's ready to recall, but does cancel it there. Meech was playing far forward, kind of calling the bluff, saying, all right, is King truly alone? I'll at least make sure that Smoothie can't easily reset and get towards the top half of the map.
Well played by Ryoma to find a little bit of damage on the Young, and as the lanes play out for EG, they have the winning soul lanes, and they're the ones that are able to find advantages on the map. First Dragon taken, Rift Herald going to be secured uncontested. EG doing a nice job of playing out their competition.
Yeah, it feels very similar, very reminiscent of what we saw in Game 1. Slower gameplay, but the macro calls there for EGC to make sure that every fight is calculated. They're the ones getting these advantages, and so that's why we look back towards DSG and how they're able to find success in Game 1. And it was eventually them saying, you know what? We cannot continue to play into their style. We cannot let them set up and poke. We have to play aggressively. We have to look for these plays in these fights. But at this moment, unlike last time, it feels like some of their tools just aren't online quite early enough to actually even look for some of those fights. Even looking at Young on this Aurelia, he is struggling. He's constantly getting shoved in by Ryoma.
You got a plate from the bot side. Again, Stain for Meech. Zazel able to find some shove. King's just there to, you know, be the menace that Seraphine is still later in the game.
Cubby, what? I want fights. Where are the fights? That's what I'm asking for.
Aiden's trying to give it to you.
Well, Shaden, I think, is doing a good job of just kind of gaining control over the Maokai. Tomio hasn't really been able to set up in any of these lanes or even get the vision control that you normally draft this Maokai for. And with Shaden having gotten that Dragon, gotten the Rift Herald right now, you can pop that mid lane as they're doing, trying to crack open this mid lane turret. While top lane, Fake God, he gets jumped on by Smoothie out of nowhere and killed off by Surdy.
Fake God doesn't burn the flash after he gets knocked back, so that ultimate doesn't get the full channel off. Even if it does, I don't think he takes down Surdy. Visit from Smoothie topside. That's some of the advantages of taking something like a Seraphine or a Ziggs bot. You're okay leaving that champion to its own devices. And Surdy able to make good use of his aggression, cashes in with the Smoothie roam, and that's another kill going over to EG as they grow that gold lead to be rather significant at the moment.
Young getting a good trade there against Ryoma. Gonna force out that LeBlanc, but the bigger problem here for DSG, well, that might have been a good trade there for Young. It was the Rift Herald that was popped mid lane by Shaden. That's 3 plates now off that mid lane turret. As you can see that going back, the Trinity Force has been completed by Shaden. As you called out, the top lane plays Surdy. He's got himself the Dusk Blade, and he can TP into mid lane looking for Young, who flashed away to escape. Surdy gonna kind of tickle him on the way out.
Still high value. We did see Young take a really good trade into Ryoma as Young was able to base this item breakpoint. Yeah, the Shiv get dominance over the waves, but in the 1v1, even without the completed Bork, Young was able to really get a good chunk onto Ryoma. And however, though, from EG, likely going to set up for this upcoming Dragon. They're going to pray it's not going to be a Chemtech Soul. If it's not a Chemtech Soul, they get a really nice roll on whatever soul they do draw. But EG, I think, would do a nice job, and this one is Tommy's going to take a pretty big chunk, and they get his ultimate out.
Gets the ult out. Zazel there. Talk the ball kick. Punts back Smoothie as well.
Dead. He's dead.
Smoothie's dead. And there goes your engage tool right as the dragon spawns. Ryoma trying to get a little bit back, but Young realizes that he pounces on with the Vanguard's edge and meets to make sure that he is locked in the pit for a double kill.
Good plays by Disguise to turn that against EG, as first Ryoma was hanging around to try and give Smoothie that escape on the second dash. As we're going to get another look, it's a great chunk on the Tomio. They get his ultimate. This is exactly what we want as EG, but there's no bot lane priority, and the rotations come in. Ryoma's trying to get Smoothie a way out, but he wasn't able to dash back to Ryoma before the combo came in from Tomio, so that E actually timed out. Then Ryoma goes way too far up. Love the aggression from Young. He drops the control ward over the wall, hits onto Ryoma immediately. He knows he can take that one. Now things are going to get volatile top. They drop the dragon, goes over to the skies. Fake God does spot Shaden. Shaden does that flash. Fake God does not. Shaden can chase it.
Yeah, that's going to be an easy kill. Pretty easy kill there for Shaden to pick that one up. Kind of a consolation prize for the bot lane play that just happened there for DSG, where Fake God is struggling in that matchup. He nearly was able to get the 1v1 against Surdy off screen that we didn't get to fully see. But really the big thing for Disguise is the fact that Meech got 2 kills from that play. Even if Young was able to set a lot of it up, getting the Xayah ahead is going to be critical for DSG coming up towards some of these skirmishes soon.
Oh, look. Fake God. Flash was blown earlier, as it looks like he tried to maybe flash an all-in Surdy. It was a flash-for-flash trade top lane. Not going to see how that one happened. We do see Shaden bring the hammer down to make sure that he gets to take over the Electric and more plates go over to the side of EG. But Skies did cut into the gold lead for EG. It's back down to 1.5k, and they got that dragon for themselves. You can see Young now in the side lane feeling a lot more comfortable and confident at this item break point. So the answer for Disguise and Young's Aurelia that we always know he can pull out, starting to get into this game as Aurelia scaling in the side lane. It's very deadly and really tough for this LeBlanc to deal with.
Going to be really difficult for them to deal with, but I still go back to Meech right now. Meech, I think, is getting into a position where once he gets that second item into this game, it's going to be really difficult for the members of EGC to deal with him. Unless you can layer down that poke on him beforehand, if Meech ever can get that feather recall off, just pull off a nice stun onto any of these members who try to dive on to Xayah, it's going to be really difficult for EGC to pilot around that because everyone else is going to be diving into this backline. You got a Kennen, a Maokai, Aurelia, Melio, maybe not so much, but all the other members are going to be really scary.
Still, you have at least Seraphine to try and reset things, magically. So it's scary, but if you can retreat, reset the fight as EG, that's where Seraphine's always going to win out in the end. So that's going to be the game plan.
Very true, and it kind of feels like it's a very similar game plan to the last game. Even if different champions for the most part, it's still about kind of poking out, maybe harassing people a little bit more in the face of DSG, but still kind of the same game plan. Get them low, reset the fight, heal back up, then fight again.
Speaking of fights, EG, they do not want to take this one. They're going to play for the steal. Goes over to Disguise. Nice positioning on the eye there for Tommy to make sure only his team
but
get
that's
it. Now
a
they're going
TP
to
coming in from Young. They're looking for Surdy. That's going to be a TP back as Shaden gets focused out by Meech, and he's forced to ult away. All the meantime, in the top lane, they've got a lot of damage. And Smoothie, he was blocked in by the Vanguard's edge, and they rip apart Surdy to pick up the kill as they got the stun on the Ryoma, trying to follow it up with the Blade Surge, but not enough damage just yet. No minions there, so they'll take the one kill they gained for themselves as well as the eye.
I do like what Shaden did there. He distracted 2 members really by himself, but the rest of the fight, the collapse came in. EG were too far up in the lane. Surdy gets punished for taking down that turret, and this guy's going to answer back with one of their own.
Yeah, they'll get themselves this top tier 1 turret, getting a little bit of chip damage in mid lane 2 by Meech as he was able to crash a minion wave. But Disguised, finding good answers here in this mid game after they've gotten some of these item spikes for their members such as Young. Where's the meow pop? Is that auto?
See, so they're going to trade second Herald for top powder. If you are EG, Shaden was just trying to fish, and what ended up happening is Young TPs to the plate. His guys finds a really nice collapse. Where Maokai is so damn strong, his engage range is just terrifying. And we're able to get both, so really well done. I love how Tomio actually preemptively flashed in there too. Got Surdy to eat another root with the Twisted Advance, and the Bramble Smash actually got him to find one of the roots. So really well played, especially by Tomio, to make sure that he burned his summoner spells to get bonus damage and knock down Sturdy. Play by Disguise. Keep on cutting in the EG's gold lead. And if they take 5v5s like that, it's going to be another win for Disguise. They try and find the 2-0 and not have to face EG in the first round of playoffs.
I have to face them as well. Look strong going into playoffs. The team, we've constantly said it, they've split so many series during this summer split. This would be a huge 2-0 because this isn't just any old EGC. Maybe at the beginning, if you kind of looked at the record, you'd think EGC, yeah, is that really that impressive? Then you think about how great EGC have been playing in the last 2 weeks and how they have really surged through the standings and looked like a far stronger team. This would be a great way for DSG to go, hey, we're confident going into playoffs. We were able to take a 2-0 off a team that took a 2-0 off of FlyQuest Challengers. It's not like this is just any old team towards the bottom of the standings.
EG going to continue to play these side lanes and not fight for the dragon. Infernal Soul is what we have on the map, and this guy is going to take the first dragon of that type. Ryoma will keep on chipping away at the top inner turret, gets it by himself. Again, EG, they win the solo lane that Aurelia's not in, and they have a game plan now for Aurelia.
They have a great game plan, and that is make sure that you have everything set up that you can just jump on top of her Vanguard.
Oh, Young?
Young, no way. Okay, he does die. I was about to say, does he actually escape that?
He does get the flash out of Surdy. That is something that Disguise can look to punish down the side lane, as I want to see them try to put Young into Surdy. Because, again, whatever side lane Young's in, I feel like Disguise can try to contest and find fights, but love that trap from EG. True value, something to learn from, I think, what EG did well there. They knew they were going to drop that objective from the start. The fact that they knew that, it enabled them to set up plays elsewhere. Yes, they get rid of the dragon, but look what they get in return. They get top inner that was taken by Ryoma by itself. Young went to push a wave that he shouldn't have. EG laid a trap for him there too. They were able to actually get that kill and take another outer turret for themselves. Yes, mid-outer's traded in return, but I think EG happy with what happened with that trade there. And it shows on the scoreboard as they're up 2K gold now.
They'll definitely take that one to the bank. And you can see where a lot of those items are starting to break for EGC. Muramana has been finished, as well as the last Whisper item. Getting started there for Surdy. The big ones being, I think, the rallies for King, where we talked before about how you can utilize the Seraphine and why she's so potent in so many compositions, is a lot of it being the fact that once she has that rallies, you are guaranteed getting root by the E.
That's true. That's a good point. I like that one. And this melee, or I should say shorter range composition for this guy is really going to struggle into the rallies. As Seraphine able to apply that one. We did see LeBlanc yesterday from AoE's Darkwing.
Okay, DSG.
In second. I mean, Night Harvester more standard for the side of Ryoma, and now DSG just trying to force EG to them. They're tired of this.
He took a lot of damage, but
they can't get in.
EGC weren't ready for this one. Jaden wanted to get into the pit, but it's already secured. Turo, Baron buff, Disguised. They just go right for it. Now Ryoma, he wants to keep the fight going himself. Up into the storm as they take down King.
Massive.
And without Seraphine, you can't peel back anymore. EGC, Disguised. They just call the play and say, EGC, you cannot play safe anymore. It is us. We're the ones who dictate the game.
This is so lit from Meech, man. He walks up into the face of Seraphine, presses R as the Encore comes out, rips down the Seraphine first, and Disguise cut through the rest of Evil Geniuses as they take the Baron, brute force it down again. Tired of being drawn around the map, Disguise force EG to come to them. They take the Baron on its own some, and then keep your eyes on Meech, folks. He's the last one out of the pit. Eats some harass. King goes for the Encore. Meech says, see you guys, I'm going up and above it, high in the clouds. It's a huge rip as the root from Tomio's Malachi. Nick Stratton held everyone in place, and Meech, buffed up by the Milio, just shreds the rest of the Evil Geniuses as Disguise take a big lead in this game.
Huge lead, and this game had been so quiet for so long, very similar to what we saw in Game 1. But it seems that Disguise, they did learn that lesson from Game 1. Do not let EGC set up. Do not let them have that freedom. You can't play patiently into a composition that loves to play patiently and is slowly going to control, but they are going to lose Fake on here in the mid lane for it.
All right, trade's going on the map. EG, they don't want to play into the Barons, and they still want to stretch out the map. As whatever solo lane they're in that doesn't contain Young, they do win. And honestly, EG doing a decent job here. They took an inner turret by themselves.
Yeah, they did.
This guy's kind of on the back foot. It's Tomio now. Might get
Tomio
flushed out.
wants to use ult just to try to escape, but that's enough. It's a lot of distance between him and the members of EGC that were in pursuit.
TP coming out from King is going to catch a thick wave here on the bot side. Gotta believe this Dragon's going over to the skies too. I'd be very surprised that EG fights this.
Yeah, I would be too. It's one of those situations for EGC where the composition that does a good job of kind of fighting, pulling back, healing up, then fighting again. That's why I like this read from DSG. Saying we have a composition that wants to fight. They want to go all in. They don't want to ever give a moment of time for EGC to play passively. Like, look at this. Ryoma, how do you escape that one? You used everything for it.
So EG is setting up a play topside because they think Disguise is going to commit to the Dragon. But Disguise with Baron, they actually answer the play with the TP, take down one of the split pushers for EG. And now they could rotate back to that Dragon if they so wish. But no, they're going to utilize that pocket they have on the top side, at least make sure that Meech can try and take down the turret. They're going to force EG to respond to them. Disguise now crossing mid. Dragon still on the table. EG down a man. Disguise find a kill and will find the neutral in the end. Well done by Disguise.
Kobe, this is what I love watching from Disguise. This is looking like the team that have 3 of their members have won in spring. The conviction, the confidence to look for plays like that to make sure not only do they get the kill, they have that Turo Baron buff. The Dragon will be theirs. They look for Shaden and almost were able to get him underneath the turret.
Young actually guessed the W out there for Shaden. He almost was able to find that. As Disguised, man, breaking this 1-3-1 from EG, like this was a comp where this gave iQuest headaches, big headaches in that 2-0 that EG had over them. To see Disguised really have this idea of how to break the strategy from EG that they have proven that they can use to beat top teams in our league. It's been good gameplay out of Disguised today. I think they're really finding good looks as a team. Where EG, yes, the composition and the strat that EG is running, it does ask that of Disguise, but Disguise, they're delivering today and living up to that mantle.
And that's what you want to see from 3 of the 5 members that won spring. I keep saying that because they are players that we know the potential of them. That we know exactly how great these players can play, and having 2 players brought in, such as Young and Meech, that are mechanically gifted and talented players. We always touted Meech when he was on CLG Challengers on his reaction time and how he was able to read plays. Well, we're seeing that this weekend. We're seeing Meech play like that, like he did last week, as he is 5-0-2 on this Aya. And like you talked about, that play that he had around Baron has set up all of this for Disguise, that EGC just got nothing that they can answer. There's just too much damage now from Disguise members. Surdy, you got fed earlier on, but no longer are you the one in control of side lanes.
Disguise continues to collapse upon Evil Geniuses. The solo laners has synced up to try and make some plays to get themselves back in this game, but no dice, as Disguise have remained strong as a stack and will continue to take away opportunities from EG. As this bot inner gonna fall, they can shift this power into the mid lane and then even try and play for the Baron if they so wish.
King trying to clear out the minion waves the best he can, but like I said, it is 2 waves set up at the same time by DSG. Without that wave clear from either Surdy or Ryoma, one thing had to give. Mid lane was it. The inhibitor will fall to boot.
Now the collapse. They can get Seraphine's flash. Yep.
Oh, that flash gets out of there. That's awkward, but that was so much damage from Meech. They do lose the tree. He has been chopped down, but look at Meech and keep his eye. They take it out. Shade was able to get the kill. This is EGC fighting back. They found the plays. They found the pigs. They're chasing down Disguise. They've been burnt to a crisp here, as they were the ones who thought they were in control, but no. EGC, they find plays perfectly at the right time to keep the game alive.
EG's pinging Baron. I think they can go for it. Fake God will have that in power TP. Same with Young, but can EG get it down in time? We'll see. Tomio trying to get Seraphine's flash, but it's too deep from the skies. Tomio gets way too low. He takes Tower Dagger afterwards. Shaden gets a reset, and that's the big key. This Viego ends up going wild as Disguise, a little bit of a lack of patience there from them. They attack EG and end up getting punished heavily for it, as that could be game-changing. EG gonna secure this Baron for themselves and will be able to contest the Infernal Soul that will be on the board here for Disguise in minute 50.
Second Baron of the game, and it's the Turo Baron buff for the first time for EGC, as now they can slowly get this gold back towards themselves. And something we talked about, Cubby, is that when we look at EGC's composition, they have insane scaling on their team. Of Viego and Seraphine, both of them are going to do so much work in these upcoming fights. And as we get further, with the gold being even now between the two teams, this is going to be hard for DSG to outburst that Seraphine, as she has hit level 16.
It really is just going to be, can EG get that first kill to get Viego to reset? And also the death ball with Seraphine rather deadly. So that's going to be the grouping. We still have the points of the game where we are not grouping. EG, I've started to play 2 lanes instead of 3. They have a decent setup here on this top side. They've got all the angles spotted from Disguise. Thanks to our observers there for the toggle, giving us some nice info. EG, this team again in the side lanes, they scale really nicely. Ryoma's level 16. Both Surdy and Ryoma have pots running, and Seraphine as well at this point of the game. It'll be tough to deal with. If Young gonna have to go back to base, and Disguise gonna lose some health off that inhibitor turret in the top lane.
Keep in mind, if EGC win this game, this could be the matchup that we see in the first round of our playoffs. It has a lot of importance here and could really clue us into how the playoffs itself can go. But DSG, they already won game 1 in a miraculous comeback. Here in game 2, they can do the same and make sure they dodge playing against EGC in the first round.
I think EGC continues to make the case as to why you don't want to face them in the first round. EGC or AoE. We'll see AoE compete up next, and I don't want to take anything away from AoE. AoE's really scaled in the second round robin. They had the worst record in the first round robin and have come back to be easily in playoffs by our last day. Will and Breezy are really playing well together as a team. I think AoE has a good identity. As we see King find some poke. Trying to keep him away from the dragon. Oh boy.
They're looking for this fight on the other side, but that's a slicing Maelstrom doing a lot of damage to Surdy. But look at Young dashing, and they've got the kill under one, but Surdy not able to get any kills back because Fake God somehow makes it out alive. And they've got the dragon, but they do finally get the kill. But that was a topsy-turvy play for both teams.
Kind of a wild take from EG. They had Baron. I really thought they were going to contest the Infernal Soul, but not going to be the case. Now, bases get stopped by EG. This guy's ripping down the mid lane. That inhibitor's down for another minute. They don't have any other ways. Are they just going to brute force tank this bot?
Do they? They're looking for Shaden here, bouncing it back. Meech's got a lot of damage. Shaden does have the stopwatch, though, just to survive. As Smoothie King, that combination with Shaden could be too much, so that's why Meech had to fall back. They do have minions that should be collapsing shortly into the spot lane. They're looking to brute force the bot lane turret.
Meech has the Bloodthirster. He can heal. Oh, we got our observers panning out. Surdy has a big TP.
TP.
Oh, no.
Bounce around, and he pops the tree, but he dies for it. The Sims are traded back 1 for 1 as Meech still playing so far forward, but Shaden makes sure up into the air. Meech, the reactions, takes down King, but look at Shaden now with his own reset. Young taking a lot of damage. Vanguard's actually connected. They got the reset. Still continuing there for Shaden with Fake God. They got more. Shaden, he's turning it around. Even if he's lost Smoothie, he can get the hearts broken of Disguised.
That's our simultaneous rank 1, rank 2 player from NA. Shaden on the Viego. Honestly, a big push from Disguised. This game's getting weird, man, in the back half, as Shaden's just straight up cleaned up 2 fights on his lonesome for EG off a mess from Disguised. I mean, Meech pushes so hard at the end. He's going for the rip flash onto Shaden as 30, as he one-taps the tree, but then gets taken down. Take a look at this from Meech. Yeah, he wants the Seraphine. He dodges out on this W, walking forward. Goes up in the air at the perfect time, but that rip flash, he didn't flash back far enough. He flashed forward. He gets behind Shaden. I think it's okay. But him being down, then great chain lands onto Young. And being in a chain, it's just chain resets here for Shaden. as he finds everything on the Viego. And he's the hero for EG right now. You called it out, Matt Magical. You love seeing this guy on stuff like Viego. He's 7-0-4 and has really saved the game twice for EG.
This has always been when Shaden has looked his best. Champions that have their own agency and can carry like he is doing right now. With Shaden having the gold and the lion's share for the team, that could be enough to push over the edge for DSG. But DSG, they still got a very strong bot lane. That is an 8-2 Xayah. And look at how they can chase away Shaden. If they can get this pick onto him, he has to heartbreak away. All the while, Dirty got Smoothie in the back pocket. They could try to open up the base of DSG. This is going to be a split fight at the moment. That's going to be an inhibitor falling in the bot lane as Fake God gets exhausted, bounced around. The turret will also be taken down, but Fake God got enough damage on Surdy. The shield's not enough, or is it? The Shark Blast! They do get the kill, but what happens inside of the base? They're trying to base to make sure that the game just shut down.
Almost dead.
And at DSG, they've got the minions there from mid lane. They can make sure they can win this game. It is going to be a final fight inside the base again. Encore went wide. They've got the damage, but Shaden cannot go in just yet. They're waiting for Smoothie to get back. He had to cancel the recall. It's going to take a long time. They've got minions, but there they go. They're now cleared away by Surdy. Jaden's still trying to chip at Meech, but Meech is kept so protected here by Zazel as the minions now, they're back here, and then they're all back up. Oh my god, that's DSG toppling another structure. They're going for the game. One more fight with a Vanguard's edge. Is it enough for DSG? Young takes down King, but Jaden, he's got the Guardian's Angel, but it's not in time. DSG pick up the 2-0.
And they guarantee that they do not face Evil Geniuses in the first round of playoffs. It will be AOE who takes the 6th seed. DSG cements themselves in that 3 spot. And a great 2-0 to boost some confidence against EG, who you can see why we're more excited about EG in the back half of the season. They are scaling. Their solo laners playing decently well, but that time around, just not able to get the 1-3-1 comp going, and gotta credit this guys. They really were able to break that at the back of Tomio, and then Meech just playing so confidently with the Emilio in his back pocket.
Yeah, he was able to play so far forward. Honestly, even that look where he dies in the bot lane, I love what he's trying to do there to try to outplay everyone. As you said, it was just pixels off from getting the full rip on all the members of EGC, but it didn't matter. They had enough. They were able to pick up that game, and even though it was a very weird game,
What happened
it was a close game, but both games went DSG's way, and we could see what happened. Look at the gold swing back and forth, Cubby.
I mean, I gotta say, the Meech damage, man, that's one way you can play into a mage. Just get Milio and just walk forward all the time, you know? Not bad. I kind of like the Milio answer in the Seraphine, quite honestly. It allows you to match the range a little bit more, and also it gets you out of the Encore instantly. So I think that's a clever answer coming out from Disguise between that and the Aurelia to match the 1-3-1 and have at least one side lane where you can win into both LeBlanc and Jace. Good draft, decent execution, back and forth game, but Disguise end up coming out on top.
They come out on top. They pick up a 2-0. They already cemented their 3rd seed status beforehand with the Game 1 victory. But this time, they cement the fact they will not be facing off against Evil Geniuses Challengers. That does matter a lot, I agree. Especially because we saw how close both these games were between the two teams. And as we move into best of 3s for the playoffs, you know, one of those wins, they go the other way. We get a Game 3 going on, and you never know what can happen in that one, Cubby. But we are going to get ready for our break. We're going to toss to a break. When we come back, we'll be back with Mazel for our Verizon post-game interview. You won't want to miss it.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Verizon post-game interview, and I'm joined by none other than the Fear the Beard man himself. I got Zazel from Disguised here. How are you doing, man? You guys got a 2-0 in a row here as your 2 last series to finish out the regular split. I know that was a focus for you guys. Does it feel just so sweet? What went into the finish? What went into the strong kind of 2 last series for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it feels pretty great. Yesterday's series, we focused pretty hard, I would say, on making sure it was a 2-0, but going into today, I actually thought, I thought head-to-head was what determined if a tiebreaker would be played or not. So I actually thought that we just secured 3rd going in today, which I just found out isn't true. We had to win, and I kind of mentioned it to the boys, and that we secured 3rd, and I think that kind of made us play a little wild today, especially game 2. Nice. So that was a mistake, but in the end we secured it.
Hey,
it was not
you
secured.
had a fun game though, at least. But yeah, it was not. But hey, at least in the end, even with the false information, you did make it all the way through, and you got a little bit of motivation for some craziness there. I do say and see that you guys are on the same page a lot of the time, and we were even hearing from Golden Glue how you've been an important impact to kind of guiding the team as well as him. What do you do personally to make sure that everyone's on the same page and everyone's putting out their A game?
I would say my main role within the team is like, I just try to make it so our bedtime is really well used, which means like making sure our lane assignments are good or when we're moving on side, talking about the enemy plays. But honestly, like a lot of our fight timers are Tomio, which is part of why like I got to pick my jungler last split. I didn't really get to pick it this split, but I didn't get to and jungler's a dog, I guess, but I didn't get to pick my jungler this split as much, but I mean, it's Tomio, and I love playing with him because he has some of the best fight instincts of any player I've played with. Sometimes some of the worst too, but that's like what I like. It keeps the game
spicy.
spicy.
The duality. Yeah, and you guys have been such a strong connection, right? You guys were so pivotal to that championship run last time around, and that's where I do want to talk a little bit about, because you guys have 3 champions from spring, right? Like, it's no slouch there. And how have you been using your guys' previous connection and kind of the veterancy to make sure you guys have a chance at a repeat title?
I would say that we already have quite a few established rules from our last team that like they're easy to carry over, and we only have to teach them to 2 players, right? Obviously, like Golden Glue wasn't there with their last team, so we still have to like kind of say it to him too. So like there was like a really simple rule we have practiced this week that has helped us win, but we already had that on our last team, but we didn't really transfer it over until this week. So it's like you kind of get a jump start on some coaching aspects and some like team understanding, because realistically there is more than one way to play the game, and each team will find their own way. So like we kind of just try to follow the same path that we did last split, even with 2 different carries and mid and AD.
Speaking of that a little bit, though, last time I got to interview you, I talked a little bit about Meech and how mechanically minded he is. How do you feel like this journey has been this split? Do you guys feel like you've grown in aspects? How do you feel like you've kind of influenced him?
I would say the main thing I've focused on with Meech is like he's always been good. He's really good mechanically, and if you get him to team fight phase, the game is like kind of just really simple. If we have a comp that even remotely can win team fights, we will win the team fight if Meech is strong. So what I focus on with him is like, for one, he likes to wander off and die quite a bit, and that was a problem early on in the split. So it was like I wasn't really saying anything. Then eventually I was just like, yeah, we're done wandering off and dying. Like, let's focus on this. Let's focus on, you know, like talking about our wave states so you're never in a bad position. And our goal is like really simple. I've been pushing him to like make sure he's always up CS at 14 minutes, because on UL.GG it's at 14 minutes. So yeah, I mean, he's
gotta get the stats.
He's performing. I mean, top of the damage charts, great damage share, always leading in kills. He does really well for us.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see your guys' duo kind of grow, and the aggression that we've actually seen come out from you guys now. That is it, though, for the regular season. You have playoffs to look ahead to. Are there any words of wisdom, some fighting words? You will be going up against AoE, so do you have anything to say?
I mean, the AoE duel is like more about the coaches. I mean, it's a KDN versus Golden Glue, I guess, so we'll have to see that one. Not really. The players don't really matter in that one, so we'll just see whichever coach is better.
Just a chess game at that point. I do want to give you one last little bit to give us some shout outs, whoever you want to talk about before I let you go.
Yeah, I mean, we know the rule. Shout out to Meech on his 410 ping. I mean, it's hard to play on that, but you're basically playing chess. Like, he's inputting his moves 4 seconds in advance, 0.4 seconds, but basically 4 seconds in the lead. Yeah, I mean, it's getting rough. I mean, I don't know, something's happening over in his house. I mean, I feel bad, but there's not much we can do. Just keep practicing the chess games, input the moves early, hope that your enemy doesn't outplay you, and it seems to be working, so we don't have much to worry about there. And obviously, shout out to the Disguised Patreon. It pays our players on Disguised, and our bosses, the general manager, coach, substitute player, Golden Glue. He has a lot of control, so we always have to shout him out. And that's all I'd say.
Thank you so much, Zazel. It's always such a pleasure to get to talk to you. I look forward to talking to you more when we get to playoffs. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take it back from you, and then we're going to go do a little break while we get ready for the last series of the regular season. We'll see you there for Team Liquid Challengers versus AoE.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive.